Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the life you've been living isn't really yours. Every decision, every belief, and even the desires that drive you might not be coming from your deepest truth, but from the expectations, conditioning, and invisible influences of the world around you. Think about it. How much of your identity is truly authentic? How much of it is just a mask, a carefully crafted persona shaped by society, upbringing, or the fears that whisper in the back of your mind? Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and founder of analytical psychology, believed that most people live their lives on autopilot, guided by external forces rather than their inner truth. He called this the collective consciousness, a shared set of beliefs and values imposed by society. But Jung also believed that within each of us lies a deeper, more authentic self, a self that has been buried under layers of conditioning, fear, and societal expectations. Today we're diving into one of Jung's most profound ideas, that life doesn't truly begin until you find yourself. But what does that even mean? Is it just about self-awareness, or is there something deeper, more transformative at play? Stay with me, because as we uncover the hidden forces shaping your identity, you'll see why most people never truly find themselves, and how you can break free. By the end, you'll discover a realization so powerful, it could change the way you see yourself and the world forever. Carl Jung, the pioneer of depth psychology, didn't believe mental well-being was about fitting into society's mold. Instead, he saw it as a journey toward individuation, the process of becoming your most authentic self. But here's the truth. Most people never take that journey. They live according to expectations, seeking validation from the outside world. They chase success, approval, and fitting in. Yet, deep down, there's an unease, a sense that something's missing. Jung believed that true life begins when we stop running from ourselves. But before we can talk about finding yourself, we need to understand what's stopping you. From the moment we're born, we're conditioned. We're given names, roles, and rules. We're taught what's acceptable, what's rewarded, and what's punished. Over time, we learn to suppress the parts of ourselves that don't fit. Think back to your childhood. Were there moments when you expressed yourself freely, only to be told to be realistic or stop being too sensitive? Slowly, you began to hide those parts of yourself, building what Jung called the persona, the mask you show the world. But here's the problem. The more you identify with that mask, the more you lose touch with your true self. And then there's the shadow, the parts of yourself you've rejected, suppressed, or ignored. Your fears, your vulnerabilities, even your hidden strengths. The shadow doesn't just disappear. It operates beneath the surface, influencing your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. Have you ever disliked someone intensely without knowing why? That's often the shadow at work, projecting what you've rejected in yourself onto others. Jung believed that the shadow is not something to be feared or eliminated, but rather a crucial part of your psyche that holds the key to your growth. By facing your shadow, you begin to reclaim the parts of yourself that you've disowned, leading to a more integrated and authentic existence. Here's the twist. The shadow isn't your enemy. It's the key to self-discovery. Jung believed that true growth isn't about eliminating the shadow. It's about integrating it. When you face what you've denied, you unlock a profound source of power, authenticity, and freedom. So, how do you begin? It starts with awareness. Question your thoughts, your reactions, your beliefs. Stop running from discomfort and start facing it with curiosity. Because here's the truth. Most people live their entire lives as strangers to themselves. But you don't have to be one of them. You have the power to break free from the illusions that have held you back, to shed the layers of conditioning, and to step into the fullness of who you are. Jung often spoke of the night sea journey, a metaphor for the difficult but necessary process of descending into the depths of your unconscious to confront your shadow. This journey is not for the faint of heart. It requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to face the unknown. But the rewards are immeasurable. By integrating your shadow, you not only reclaim lost parts of yourself, but also gain a deeper understanding of your true nature. This process of individuation leads to a more balanced and harmonious life, where you are no longer at war with yourself, but instead living in alignment with your deepest values and desires. Carl Jung believed that within every person lies a hidden world, a vast inner landscape filled with forgotten memories, suppressed emotions, and untapped potential. The key to finding yourself isn't about constructing a new identity. It's about uncovering what's already there. Have you ever felt a deep, unexplainable longing for something more? That's the voice of your unconscious, calling you to a greater version of yourself. Jung called this process individuation, the integration of all aspects of yourself, the light and the dark. But before you can integrate these parts, you must confront them, and that's where most people stop. Why? Because facing yourself is uncomfortable. It requires questioning long-held beliefs, challenging your fears, and sitting with the silence you've been avoiding. Think about it. How often do you distract yourself with work, social media, or entertainment? These distractions are defense mechanisms, ways to avoid the deeper questions lurking beneath the surface. But no matter how much you avoid them, they don't go away. Your unconscious mind is always speaking to you, through dreams, patterns, and even your deepest wounds. When you start paying attention, you'll see how these hidden forces shape your choices, your relationships, and your life. For example, take the fear of rejection. Is it really about what others think, or does it stem from an old wound, a moment when you felt unseen or unworthy? Jung would argue that this fear is a shadow aspect of yourself, waiting to be acknowledged and integrated. When you finally face these hidden parts, they lose their power over you. Imagine living without the fear of judgment, speaking your truth without hesitation, and making decisions based on what resonates deeply within you. That's the power of individuation. Carl Jung believed that within every person lies a set of universal patterns, archetypes, that shape our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. These archetypes, stored in what he called the collective unconscious, influence everything from our personal identity to the way we see the world. Think about the stories that have been told throughout history: the hero, the mentor, the villain, the innocent child. These aren't just fictional characters. They represent psychological forces that exist within all of us. For example, the hero archetype is the part of you that seeks purpose, that feels called to something greater. But the hero is always accompanied by the shadow, the part of you that holds your fears, weaknesses, and untapped potential. When you confront the shadow, you unlock a profound source of growth. But most people try to suppress it instead of understanding it. Jung believed that true transformation happens when you integrate the shadow, learning from it rather than rejecting it. And then there's the anima and animus, the hidden feminine and masculine energies within us. When these forces are in balance, you feel whole. But when they're out of balance, inner conflict arises. To find yourself, you must embrace all parts of yourself, the light and the dark, the masculine and the feminine. Individuation isn't about becoming something different. It's about becoming whole. Jung's concept of the collective unconscious is one of his most revolutionary ideas. He believed that beneath our personal unconscious, the memories and experiences unique to each individual, lies a deeper layer of the psyche that is shared by all humanity. This collective unconscious is a reservoir of ancient wisdom, symbols, and archetypes that have been passed down through generations. Think of it as a psychological inheritance, a kind of ancestral memory that shapes how we perceive the world and ourselves. For example, the archetype of the wise old man or nurturing mother appears in myths, religions, and stories across cultures. These universal symbols resonate with us because they tap into something primal and timeless within us. Jung believed that by exploring these archetypes, we can access a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. The collective unconscious reminds us that we are not isolated beings, but part of a larger, interconnected web of human experience. It invites us to look beyond our individual struggles and see the bigger picture, a perspective that can bring profound meaning and clarity to our lives. One of the most powerful archetypes Jung explored was the hero. The hero's journey is not just a mythic tale. It's a metaphor for the process of individuation. Every hero's story follows a similar pattern: a call to adventure, a descent into the unknown, a confrontation with the shadow, and ultimately a return with newfound wisdom. This journey mirrors the psychological process of self-discovery. The call to adventure is that moment when you realize something is missing in your life, a deep longing for meaning or purpose. The descent into the unknown represents the journey into your unconscious, where you confront your fears, doubts, and hidden aspects of yourself. The confrontation with the shadow is the most challenging part of the journey, as it requires you to face the parts of yourself you've been avoiding, but it's also the most transformative. When you integrate your shadow, you emerge stronger, wiser, and more authentic. The hero's journey is not about achieving external success or recognition. It's about inner growth and self-realization. It's a reminder that the greatest adventure you can embark on is the journey to find yourself. At the core of Jung's teachings is the concept of the self, the ultimate archetype of wholeness and integration. The self represents the totality of who you are, encompassing both the conscious and unconscious aspects of your psyche. It's the guiding force that leads you toward individuation, the process of becoming your most authentic self. Jung often symbolized the self with the mandala, a circular design that represents unity, balance, and harmony. The mandala is a powerful reminder that the journey to self-discovery is not about perfection, but about integration. It's about bringing together the light and the dark, the masculine and the feminine, the known and the unknown. The self is not something you create. It's something you uncover. It's the part of you that has always been there, waiting to be remembered. Jung believed that the self is the true center of the psyche, the source of your deepest wisdom and potential. When you align with the self, you experience a sense of inner peace and purpose that transcends the fleeting highs and lows of everyday life. The self is your true north, guiding you toward a life of meaning and fulfillment. There's one final revelation, one that ties everything together. The greatest obstacle to finding yourself isn't fear, self-doubt, or external conditioning. It's the illusion of self. What if the version of you that you identify with is just a fragment of something much larger? What if you're not a single, isolated being, but a vast, interconnected field of consciousness? Jung believed that the true self is not the ego, the small, fear-driven identity we cling to. It's something far greater, something that transcends labels, fears, and limitations. So how do you step beyond the illusion of self? Start by embracing the unknown. Release attachment to labels. Listen to your dreams and instincts, and surrender to the process. Because here's the ultimate truth. You were never truly lost. The self you've been seeking has been within you all along, waiting to be remembered. Now the choice is yours. Will you continue living as a fragment of who you truly are, or will you step into the fullness of your existence, unafraid and unapologetic? Because life doesn't truly begin until you find yourself, and now you know the way. Thank you for watching.